Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other socials for more. Enjoy. My eyes stared back with a mix of wonder and trepidation. Soft curves had replaced sharp angles, and long chestnut locks cascaded over my shoulders. I barely recognized myself, but for the first time, the reflection felt right. Stephanie? Mom's voice drifted up the stairs. Are you ready, sweetie? We need to leave soon. My heart raced. This was it. The day we'd move to a new town where I'd start fresh as my true self. No more pretending, no more suffocating beneath a mask that never fit. Coming, Mom! I called back, my voice higher and softer than it had been just months ago. I gave my reflection one last appraising look, straightening the floral sundress I'd chosen for the journey. With trembling fingers, I applied a final swipe of lip gloss, still not quite used to the ritual, but reveling in its small affirmation of my identity. Grabbing my bags, I descended the stairs, each step bringing me closer to a future I'd once only dreamed of. Mom waited at the bottom, her eyes glistening with pride and love. Oh, honey, she breathed, pulling me into a warm embrace. You look beautiful. I melted into her arms, overwhelmed by a wave of gratitude. Throughout this journey, she'd been my rock, my fiercest advocate, and my guiding light. Thanks, Mom, I mumbled into her shoulder, fighting back tears that threatened to ruin my carefully applied mascara. For everything. She pulled back, cupping my face in her hands. I'm so proud of you, Stephanie. You're the bravest person I know. A lump formed in my throat. Brave? I didn't feel brave. Most days I felt terrified, but looking into my mother's eyes, seeing the unwavering support there, I felt a flicker of courage ignite within me. Let's hit the road, she said with a wink, hefting one of my bags. Your new life awaits. The car ride stretched before us, miles of asphalt carrying us towards an uncertain future. As familiar landmarks faded in the rearview mirror, I felt a curious mix of excitement and loss. We were leaving behind the only home I'd ever known, the place where I'd first whispered my truth to the night sky. Penny for your thoughts? Mom glanced over, her brow furrowed with concern. I sighed, watching the scenery blur past. Just nervous, I guess. What if they figure it out? What if I can't pull this off? Mom reached over, squeezing my hand. Stephanie, listen to me. You're not pulling anything off. You're being yourself, your true, authentic self, and that's the most beautiful thing in the world. Her words warmed me, but doubt still gnawed at the edges of my mind. But what if I mess up? What if I don't know how to be a girl? A soft chuckle escaped her lips. Oh, sweetie, there's no one right way to be a girl. You just be you. The rest will come naturally. As we drove, Mom regaled me with stories from her own adolescence, awkward first dates, fashion faux pas, and the myriad small dramas that made up a teenage girl's life. I drank in every word, filing away the information like precious gems. And remember, she added with a conspiratorial grin, if all else fails, just smile and nod. Works every time. I laughed, some of the tension easing from my shoulders. Maybe, just maybe, I could do this. Hours melted away, punctuated by rest stops and drive-through meals. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in brilliant hues, we finally crossed into the city limits of our new home. Well, here we are, Mom announced, her voice tinged with excitement. Millbrook. Population 15,000 and home to the best apple pie in the state, or so I'm told. I peered out the window, taking in the quaint downtown area with its brick storefronts and twinkling streetlights. It looked like something out of a Hallmark movie, picturesque and utterly foreign to my suburban upbringing. It's cute, I offered, trying to quell the butterflies in my stomach. Mom navigated the quiet streets, following the GPS to our new house. We pulled into the driveway of a modest 2-story home, its white siding gleaming in the moonlight. Home sweet home, Mom declared, killing the engine. She turned to me, her expression softening. You ready for this? I I took a deep breath, steeling myself, as ready as I'll ever be. We spent the next few hours unloading the car and exploring our new space. My room, my very own room, decorated in soft pinks and purples, felt like a sanctuary. For the first time, I had a space that truly reflected who I was. Exhausted but exhilarated, I collapsed onto my bed, staring up at the unfamiliar ceiling. Tomorrow would bring a whole new set of challenges. My first day at Millbrook High as Stephanie. The thought sent a shiver of anxiety through me. A soft knock at the door interrupted my spiraling thoughts. "Come in," I called. Mom poked her head in, a steaming mug in each hand. "Thought you might like some hot cocoa. It always helped me sleep in a new place." I sat up, gratefully accepting the warm beverage. Mom perched on the edge of my bed, her eyes roaming the room. "So," she began, her tone casual. "Any thoughts on what you're wearing tomorrow?" I groaned, flopping back onto the pillows. God, I haven't even thought about it. What if I choose wrong? What if I stick out like a sore thumb? Mom chuckled, patting my leg. "Well, lucky for you, your brilliant mother anticipated this crisis. Come on, let's raid your closet." For the next hour, we sifted through my wardrobe, debating the merits of various outfits. Mom offered gentle guidance, explaining the unspoken rules of high school fashion I'd never had to consider before. "Remember," she said, holding up a cute floral blouse, "you want to blend in, but still let your personality shine through, and comfort is key. You'll be nervous enough without pinching shoes or an itchy sweater." In the end, we settled on a pair of high-waisted jeans, the floral blouse, and a pair of comfortable ankle boots. Simple, stylish, and perfectly unremarkable. Exactly what I needed for my debut. As Mom wished me goodnight, leaving me alone with my thoughts, I found myself drifting back to the beginning of this journey. It felt like a lifetime ago, but in reality, it had been less than a year since I'd first whispered the truth to myself in the dark of night. I remembered the paralyzing fear that had gripped me, the certainty that admitting my truth would shatter my world. And in some ways, it had. But from those broken pieces, something beautiful had emerged. A chance to live authentically, to be the person I'd always known I was meant to be. The first person I told, besides Mom, was my best friend, Tony. We'd been inseparable since kindergarten, and the thought of losing him terrified me more than anything. I'd invited him over, hands shaking as I tried to find the right words. "Dude, what's going on?" he'd asked, concern etched across his features. "You look like you're about to puke." I took a deep breath, steeling myself. "Tony, I need to tell you something, and it might change everything, but I can't keep pretending anymore." His brow furrowed, but he remained silent, waiting for me to continue. I'm transgender," I finally blurted out, the words hanging in the air between us. "I'm a girl. I've always been a girl, even if my body doesn't match, and I'm going to transition." For a long moment, Tony just stared at me, his expression unreadable. My heart pounded in my chest, certain I'd just lost my best friend. Then, to my utter shock, he broke into a wide grin. "Well, damn. That explains why you always kicked my ass at Just Dance." A startled laugh bubbled up from my chest, mingling with the tears of relief that spilled down my cheeks. Tony pulled me into a bear hug, his acceptance washing over me like a balm. "So," he said as he pulled back, "does this mean I have to start calling you Dude-ette now?" From that moment on, Tony became my fiercest ally, standing up to anyone who dared question or mock my identity. When I finally started presenting as female at school, he was right there beside me, glaring down anyone who looked at me sideways. The memory brought a smile to my face, even as a pang of longing shot through my heart. I missed Tony fiercely, but we'd both agreed a fresh start was what I needed. Still, knowing I had his unwavering support, even from afar, gave me strength. As I drifted off to sleep that night, my dreams were a swirling mix of anxiety and hope. I saw myself walking the halls of Millbrook High, sometimes confident and radiant, other times exposed and ridiculed. But through it all, a steady current of determination pulsed beneath the surface. Morning came all too soon, sunlight streaming through unfamiliar curtains. For a moment, disorientation gripped me. Where was I? Then reality came crashing back, bringing with it a fresh wave of nerves. I went through my morning routine on autopilot, each action feeling both foreign and comfortingly familiar. The face that greeted me in the mirror was still a work in progress. Hormones had softened my features, but there was still a hint of the boy I'd pretended to be for so long. With trembling hands, I applied my makeup, trying to recall all the tips Mom and countless YouTube tutorials had drilled into me. Foundation to even out my skin tone, a touch of blush for a healthy glow, mascara to emphasize my lashes. I kept it simple, not wanting to draw too much attention. "You've got this," I whispered to my reflection, willing myself to believe it. Downstairs, Mom had prepared a veritable feast. Pancakes, eggs, bacon, the works. My stomach churned at the sight, anxiety threatening to overwhelm me. "I know you're nervous, sweetie," Mom said, placing a gentle hand on my shoulder. "But you need to eat something. Can't conquer the world on an empty stomach." I managed a few bites, more to appease her than out of any real appetite. As I pushed the food around my plate, Mom's voice broke through my anxious haze. "Stephanie," she said, her tone serious, "I want you to remember something today. No matter what happens, no matter how anyone reacts, you are valid. Your identity is not up for debate or someone else's approval. You are a beautiful, brave young woman, and I am so incredibly proud of you." Tears pricked at the corners of my eyes, threatening to ruin my carefully applied mascara. I blinked them back, offering Mom a wobbly smile. "Thanks, Mom," I whispered. "I don't know what I'd do without you." The drive to school was mercifully short, though each minute felt like an eternity. As we pulled up to the imposing brick building, my heart threatened to beat out of my chest. "Deep breaths," Mom reminded me. "You've got this, Stephanie. Just be yourself." With a final hug and whispered words of encouragement, I stepped out of the car and into my new life. The sounds of chattering students and slamming lockers washed over me as I made my way inside, clutching my schedule like a lifeline. I navigated the crowded hallways, searching for my homeroom. All around me, students reunited with friends, comparing summer adventures and lamenting the end of vacation. I felt like an alien, observing a world I didn't quite belong to. "Excuse me," a voice called out. "Are you lost?" I turned to find a petite blonde girl smiling at me, her green eyes sparkling with friendliness. Yeah," I admitted, my voice higher than usual with nerves. "I'm new here, looking for room 203? Oh, that's my homeroom too," she exclaimed. "I'm Lily. Come on, I'll show you the way." Relief washed over me as I fell into step beside her. Lily chattered away, filling me in on all the Millbrook high gossip I'd missed. I nodded along, trying to keep up with the rapid-fire names and events. "So, where are you from?" Lily asked as we reached the classroom. Springdale," I replied, naming a town far enough away to discourage too many questions. "My mom got a job transfer." Lily's eyes lit up. "No way! I have cousins in Springdale. Maybe you know them? The Petersons?" Panic flared in my chest. This was it. My carefully constructed story was about to unravel. "Oh, it's a pretty big town," I stammered. "I didn't really know many people there." Lily opened her mouth to respond, but mercifully the bell rang, cutting off further conversation. We filed into the classroom, and I sank into an empty desk, heart pounding. As the teacher began taking attendance, I held my breath, waiting for the moment my name would be called. When Stephanie Collins rang out, I raised my hand, my voice barely above a whisper as I said, "Here." And just like that, it was done. My first official moment as Stephanie, acknowledged and accepted without question or suspicion. A warm glow of validation spread through my chest, momentarily drowning out the anxiety. The rest of the morning passed in a blur of new faces and information overload. I stuck close to Lily, grateful for her easy friendship and insider knowledge of the school. By lunchtime, I'd been introduced to her entire friend group, a diverse mix of personalities that welcomed me without hesitation. As we sat in the bustling cafeteria, I found myself relaxing for the first time all day. The constant fear of being found out began to fade, replaced by a cautious optimism. Maybe, just maybe, I could do this. So, Stephanie, one of Lily's friends, I think her name was Emma, piped up. Any cute boys catch your eye yet? The question caught me off guard, and I felt heat creep up my neck. Dating was a whole other minefield I hadn't even begun to consider. Oh, not really, I mumbled, pushing my salad around my plate. I'm just trying to get my bearings, you know? The girls nodded sympathetically, launching into a discussion of the merits of various Millbrook high heartthrobs. I listened with half an ear, marveling at how easily I'd been accepted into their circle. As the final bell rang, signaling the end of my first day, a mix of exhaustion and elation washed over me. I'd done it. I'd survived my first day as Stephanie, and the world hadn't come crashing down around me. Mom was waiting in the parking lot, practically vibrating with anticipation. As soon as I slid into the passenger seat, she turned to me, eyes wide. "Well?" she demanded. "How was it? Tell me everything." I couldn't help but laugh at her enthusiasm. "It was good," I said, a smile spreading across my face. "Really good, actually." As we drove home, I regaled her with stories of my day. The kindness of Lily, the easy acceptance of her friends, the small victories that had built my confidence bit by bit. "Oh, sweetie, I'm so proud of you," Mom said, reaching over to squeeze my hand.
"I knew you could do it." That night, as I lay in bed replaying the events of the day, a profound sense of peace settled over me. For the first time in my life, I felt truly, authentically myself. The road ahead would undoubtedly have its challenges, but I was no longer afraid to face them. I was Stephanie Collins, and I was finally home. Each day, I grew more comfortable in my own skin, more confident in my identity. The constant fear of being found out began to fade, replaced by a quiet joy in simply being myself. Lily and her friends had fully embraced me as one of their own. We spent lunch periods giggling over inside jokes and swapping fashion tips. For the first time in my life, I felt like I truly belonged. One crisp autumn afternoon, as we sprawled on the bleachers watching the football team practice, Emma nudged me with her elbow. "So, Steph," she said, a mischievous glint in her eye. "Spill, any secret crushes yet?" I felt heat creep up my neck. Dating was still a terrifying prospect, fraught with complications I wasn't sure I was ready to face. "Not really," I mumbled, picking at a loose thread on my sweater. "I'm just not looking for anything right now." Lily's brow furrowed. "Everything okay? You always clam up when we talk about boys." Panic fluttered in my chest. Had I been too obvious? Were they starting to suspect? "It's just," I began, scrambling for an explanation. "My last relationship didn't end well. I'm not really ready to put myself out there again." It wasn't entirely a lie. My last attempt at dating, back when I was still pretending to be a boy, had been a disaster of epic proportions. The girl's expressions softened with sympathy. "Oh, honey," Lily said, wrapping an arm around my shoulders. "We had no idea. Take all the time you need." Relief washed over me, mixed with a pang of guilt for the half-truth. These girls had become true friends, and part of me longed to share my whole story with them. But the fear of rejection, of losing this newfound acceptance, held me back. As the days grew shorter and colder, life settled into a comfortable routine. I threw myself into my studies, determined to make the most of this fresh start. My grades soared, and I even joined the school's debate team, finding an outlet for the voice I'd kept silent for so long. At home, Mom continued to be my rock,
offering unwavering support and a sympathetic ear for the roller coaster of emotions that came with my transition. We spent cozy evenings curled up on the couch, binging cheesy rom-coms and painting each other's nails. "You know," Mom said one night as she carefully applied a coat of shimmering purple polish to my toes, "I always wanted a daughter to do this with." Tears pricked at the corners of my eyes. "Really?" She looked up, her gaze filled with love. "Really? I just didn't know I already had one." I threw my arms around her, overcome with gratitude for her unconditional acceptance. As the holidays approached, a new challenge loomed on the horizon. Lily had invited me to her family's annual Christmas party, a glittering affair that half the town seemed to attend. "You have to come," she insisted, practically bouncing with excitement. "It's the social event of the season, plus my cute cousin Michael will be there. He's totally your type." I forced a smile, pushing down the anxiety that bubbled up at the thought of navigating such a public event. "Sounds fun," I lied. "I'll have to check with my mom." That night, I paced my room, debating whether to go. On one hand, it was a chance to further cement my place in this new life. On the other, the thought of being surrounded by strangers, each one a potential threat to my carefully guarded secret, made my palms sweat. A soft knock interrupted my spiraling thoughts. Mom poked her head in, concern etched across her features. "Everything okay, sweetheart? You've been awfully quiet tonight." I sank onto my bed with a heavy sigh. "Lily invited me to her family's Christmas party. It's this huge thing, and I don't know if I can do it." Mom sat beside me, her hand finding mine. "What are you afraid of?" "Everything," I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. "What if someone figures it out? What if I say the wrong thing or act the wrong way? What if I'm not enough of a girl?" "Oh, Stephanie," Mom breathed, pulling me into a tight embrace. "Listen to me. You are every bit the young woman you know yourself to be. No one can take that away from you." I buried my face in her shoulder, drawing strength from her unwavering belief in me. "And you know what?" she continued, a hint of mischief creeping into her tone. "I think this calls for a shopping trip. Can't have you going to the social event of the season without a killer outfit, can we?" Despite my fears, I couldn't help but smile. "Thanks, Mom." The next day found us at the mall, sifting through racks of glittering dresses and sparkling accessories. As I tried on outfit after outfit, twirling in front of the dressing room mirror, I felt a spark of excitement ignite within me. "Oh, honey," Mom gasped as I emerged in a deep green velvet dress that hugged my curves in all the right places. "That's the one. You look absolutely stunning." I stared at my reflection, hardly recognizing the confident young woman who gazed back at me. For the first time, I truly saw myself. Not as someone pretending, but as the person I was always meant to be. The night of the party arrived, bringing with it a fresh wave of nerves. As I carefully applied my makeup, I gave myself a stern pep talk in the mirror. "You've got this, Stephanie," I whispered. "You are strong. You are beautiful. You belong here." Mom drove me to Lily's house, squeezing my hand reassuringly before I stepped out of the car. "Remember," she said, her eyes shining with pride, "you are perfect exactly as you are." I took a deep breath and made my way up the front walk, the sound of laughter and music spilling out into the night. Lily greeted me at the door with an excited squeal, pulling me into a hug. "Oh my God, you look amazing," she gushed, admiring my dress. "Come on, I want you to meet everyone." The next few hours passed in a whirlwind of introductions and small talk. I sipped punch, laughed at jokes, and even managed to hold my own in a heated debate about the merits of various superhero movies. With each passing moment, my confidence grew. As the night wore on, I found myself in a quiet corner, taking a moment to catch my breath. A tall, handsome boy approached, a shy smile playing at his lips. "Hi," he said, extending his hand. "I'm Michael, Lily's cousin." My heart skipped a beat as I shook his hand. "Stephanie," I replied, proud of how steady my voice sounded. We fell into easy conversation, discussing everything from our favorite books to our dreams for the future. As we talked, I felt a warmth blooming in my chest. Not just attraction, but a sense of genuine connection. "Would you like to dance?" Michael asked as a slow song began to play. For a moment, panic flared within me. What if he noticed something was different when he held me close? But looking into his kind eyes, I pushed the fear aside. "I'd love to," I said, taking his outstretched hand. As we swayed to the music, Michael's arms around my waist, I felt a profound sense of rightness wash over me. This was who I was meant to be, not hiding, not pretending, but living authentically as my true self. The night ended far too soon, and as I climbed into Mom's waiting car, my cheeks hurt from smiling so much. "So?" she asked, eyes twinkling. "How was it?" I leaned back in my seat, a contented sigh escaping my lips. "It was perfect," I said. "Absolutely perfect." Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more wonderful content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.